All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another live and direct episode of These Corona Times.
Live and direct.
Live and
This is
direct.
me with three devices. I'm watching us and I'm watching us.
Live. I just heard myself.
Oh
We
wow,
are,
this is too much.
in light with our episode title, we're trying our new social experiment, which is
Right.
coming on live on Saturday nights. So you're here with us now. We are truly live, so anything can happen. So if it does, just bear with us. If anybody glitches or leaves the chat, we pray they'll come back and we'll be able to finish the episode. But until any of that happens, we
I
want to
feel
say
disrespected. I feel that was toward me.
it was a lot of shade directed toward my friend and co-host, Dr. Simone Bruce.
I have a different computer. Thank you very much.
We've also got our friend Brandon here with us tonight.
What's going on, folks?
What's up? And your girl Tiffany, as always. Thank you for tuning in to These Corona Times. Again, we are here for episode 46, and tonight's episode is entitled The Impact of Social Media. It's going to be a great discussion of which I will not orient you to. Instead, I will just say thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you all liking our page, following us, subscribing, commenting, all that jazz. You can find us on Facebook at These Corona Times. You can find us on YouTube by typing in at These Corona Times. We're also available on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever podcasts are heard. You can type in These Corona Times and find us there. Just we appreciate the love and support, guys. Keep it coming.
Thank
Keep it
you.
coming.
Seriously, it's great.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yep. It was cool to. I know our last episode was about It was obviously our 1 year anniversary ish, and we were highlighting some of our most viewed episodes. It's crazy to see some of our episodes are in the thousands. That's not what we expected at all. So we are very thankful that you all have been watching and tuning in. So how do we take care of ourselves this week? How did y'all do with self care?
Did we?
Um, no, I really didn't, to be honest. It was one of those where the last 2 weeks my sleep has just been trash. And y'all know my self-care for me is going to bed at a decent hour and getting my 7 to 9 hours of sleep. That's my main self-care. And that has not been done the last couple of weeks. I'm slacking on that for real.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Did do some self care in the form of sleep. I don't know if y'all heard me say in the polos that I bought myself some melatonin because
I
I have
heard you
not
say
been
that.
sleeping. I haven't been sleeping very well. In the last few weeks, my sleep schedule's been all over the place, and not even because I'm just up. I'm really trying to go to bed, and I'm just not sleeping great. I think my patterns are just all mixed up with COVID and whatnot. And I'm really trying to get back into a habit of good sleep, sleeping 8 hours, going to bed a decent time, getting up early. Not just because
Mhm.
of, we've been working this whole time, but we'll be returning back to the building soon, so I won't be able to be as relaxed as I have been over the last year. Um, so I bought myself some melatonin. I was like, let me give this a try.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you something.
It's been doing. It's been
It's
doing
been
what it
doing
needs to
the
do.
good Lord's work, is what it's been doing.
We are truly friends. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
It's been doing the good Lord's work. I have been taking them and I've been out like a light
That
and
is
Mm.
hilarious.
sleeping great. So,
That's
I'm a
what's up.
fan. I'm a believer.
Yeah, my
My
kids
light.
take it every night.
They don't go to sleep though. That's
Wow.
why I didn't
No,
believe.
no, no, no. My kids go to sleep. They just get up early.
Super
They
early.
do get up
Very
early.
early.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. We give it to Caden. Well, we have some for him, but he's a pretty good. He don't really need it. But anyway, I think for me, when I lay down, I'm good. I go to sleep. So I've been getting my rest. But I would say my self care has been in the form of really getting outside and swimming more. I love swimming. I'm
Hmm.
not the best swimmer, but I like that's Tiffany calls it my happy place.
Yes.
We've been out there quite a bit, and Kaden loves it. And so, and then when we come back in, we're worn out, and it's good for the baby. It's good for me. It's my exercise, all that good
Hmm.
stuff. Um, so that, and then also I talked about a couple weeks ago doing more like at night doing meditations or listening
Hmm.
to meditations and stuff
Yep.
like that. So I'll do that, and I try to get my living a massage therapist to give me a massage. But see, what happens is that if he falls asleep, listen to the
The meditation,
mindfulness,
yes,
then it doesn't work out.
doesn't work.
So
Doesn't work.
I'm gonna have to get earphones because he can't do that. And my light is being disrespectful. My
I saw
ring light.
that.
So I'm gonna be dealing with that throughout the night.
Can we just
But
affirm
anyway,
for the audience that Simone is not wearing her swimming suit now? She's
I'm not.
has
They've
changed her
accused
clothes.
me of being naked. I'm not naked. I have on a
Is that a
dress
sundress
because
or
it is
maxi?
summer. It is, yes. Thank you. And I am comfortable. And I'm dark. I'm darker. And that's my goal, is to get as dark as possible. What'd you say, Tiff?
Just said you blacken it up for the summer.
Yes, black it up. That's what I'm trying to do. So self-care sounds good for most of us, but some of us need to do better. Brandon, go to sleep. Although you do a lot of cleaning, you love cleaning. There was a day when you was
That's
hard in
true.
there.
I did
You
do a
was
lot
in
of
there
cleaning. The
cleaning.
house, I did a lot of cleaning. I did a lot of
Immaculate.
yard work. So yeah. So those are my self-care things. So maybe I'm half. I'm 50%.
They don't sound like self-care things to me. Like, I like to clean too, but I don't find self-care in that.
But Tiff, it makes him happy. He shows
I
up to the
know.
polo smiling from ear to
He
ear because he
does.
clean, and I
I
don't
know.
understand.
I
But
don't get it either.
that's his thing.
Listen, a clean house and a clean car, that just makes my day right there.
That's
Okay,
all
I'm
that
not gonna
matters.
fight you. You know.
That's all that matters. So in terms of acknowledgments, we usually highlight a person or a business, a Black business or minority business. So we're gonna highlight Mental Health Awareness Month. It is May, and it is Mental Health Awareness Month. The purpose of the month is to raise awareness and educate the public about mental health. Also to kind of highlight the realities of living with mental health conditions, and to kind of educate people about strategies about how to attain mental health and wellness. And within that, we also want to highlight the BB Moore Campbell National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, which is actually in July. So we're going to talk about it again in July, but I didn't know about this. But BB Moore Campbell she passed away. She was an African-American author, advocate, and co-founder of NAMI. NAMI stands for the National Alliance on Mental Illness. NAMI is a huge organization. You can find them on.
Really, I didn't realize that. That's crazy. I didn't know she was the co-founder.
Yeah, and she's also, I don't know if you remember her daughter, Maya Campbell, who was on
In the house.
the show with In the House, with the rapper.
LL Cool J and
Cool J,
Debbie
yeah.
Allen.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I actually read her book a couple years ago. She wrote a book about her experience with her daughter who has suffers from mental illness. But so yeah, she was a co-founder of NAMI Urban Los Angeles and national spokesperson. And so for National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, the purpose is to improve access to mental health treatment and services, and to promote public awareness of mental illness, and to enhance public awareness, among minority communities. So the website for NAMI is nami.org. And if you go there, they have lots of wonderful resources, how to get connected with the therapist, groups, all kind of stuff, all things mental health related. It's a wonderful resource, especially like around suicide and suicide prevention and hotlines and things of that nature. So maybe we can put a graphic in there as well. Well, no, we can't because this is live.
We'll be on our other one. So I will say, I'll drop this in. If you watch us live tonight, we do post on YouTube later. So if you go back and watch our YouTube, you may see those edits in there. Caveat for last week, we did some bloopers at the end of last week's episode. So if you go back and watch our YouTube anniversary episode, you might see something special at the end, the last 30 seconds or so. But yeah, so it'll be in there on the edited version.
And I think it's appropriate to highlight Mental Health Awareness Month because I think our topic, which I'm not going to orient us to, there's some mental health stuff in there.
Yeah.
But I'm going to kick it over to Brandon, who will do the orientation.
And I wait with bated breath for this orientation.
For the light orientation.
Yes, for the light orientation.
They just know that I like to talk. Right? So they got to put light in the notes because they know I like to talk. So basically, I'm going to keep it real short, 30 seconds. If you have a phone, you're probably on some type of social media. and we're going to talk about the impact of social media, whether it's good, bad, what are the pros, what are the cons, how do we use it, how influential is it. We also want to talk about some of the documentaries that we've been watching as well, and just really kind of get down and just really find out the impact of social media, especially, of course, but during these Corona times
Hmm.
when we're all struggling to stay together, and
Hmm.
social media kind of helps with that. But is it doing more harm than good? Light enough for you all?
It was.
It was. That was good.
Thank
That
you.
was really good. Yeah.
Appreciate that. You know,
Let's see. I'm looking at us on here too. Yeah. He
you got to stop looking at us on multiple devices, okay?
probably put the other computer on my desk as well. But anyway. Um yeah, this is an important topic for real. And I think it affects all of us. But after watching the social experiment, no, social dilemma,
Dilemma,
sorry.
dilemma.
We should say experiment because that's appropriate
That's
too.
what it is, I think.
Definitely opened my eyes in ways that I did not expect. So
Can I
yeah,
tell y'all that was the scariest movie I've ever seen?
you did.
I
Yeah.
did
It
tell
was
y'all that, right?
frightening.
It was legit, like for real scary. I was just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna
So
talk about that. I know it's later down the notes. And before we talk about the movie some, I want to ask this, which was not in the notes. Just thought about it as we were talking. Social media inventory. How much do we use it on a daily basis? Like, what are you using for social media? Why? How much are you consuming?
All right, I'll go first with that. But I might have the most, maybe. We'll see. I
Hmm.
use I use Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and WhatsApp. WhatsApp, I don't know if WhatsApp really counts because I'm in one group in WhatsApp, book club group, but I usually use WhatsApp for video calling,
Hmm.
for
mm,
like parents and everything like that. So I'm not sure if that really counts, but since I have it and I use it, I'll count it on there. But the three that I'm on, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, I'm on the big three,
mm,
I guess.
Yeah.
mm.
And that's about it. That's about it for me. And I would say over the course of the day total, I would say that I get a couple hours a day of screen time. I would say 2 to 3.
Hmm.
You know?
Hmm. About you, Simone?
Well, for me, I don't have a lot because I've resisted quite a bit. But I will say Facebook is the most that I do a lot of scrolling on Facebook throughout the day. Countless. I mean, and for me, it's between sessions. So I might have 5 minutes. I might scroll for a few minutes, and so that 5 minutes accumulate throughout the day can be a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So between that, I would say under that would be Instagram, which I only scroll on. I don't post anything. I do not use it.
You
I
know.
have I have Twitter. I have
Do
what's
you?
I do, but I don't use it. I don't even know how to log on to it. I don't think.
Mom probably
Does
still has an active MySpace account.
what's that one? Marco Polo. Does that count as social media?
Brand
If
account at
it
WhatsApp. I think you can
if
count.
it if it does, if you do Cart Marco Polo, then I'm on 5.
Yeah.
Well, I think it should because we get notifications. It's something that it takes me away from what I'm doing, what's in front of me. I get mad at people if they interrupt me
Hmm.
while I am, you know what I mean? I get, you know what I mean? Like
If they
I
appear.
bought I bought a subscription. I now
Yeah.
pay. That's the only one I pay for. I don't pay for anything on social media or social media related, but I do pay for that. So I would say I'm on
Yeah,
there a
it
lot.
counts. It counts. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on that. I'm on that. So you can say
Yeah.
5 for me.
And your phone will tell you how long you've been on there. And I refuse to look because I don't want to get
Oh, I've turned mine
upset
off.
with myself.
I've
I don't
turned
want to know.
we on the Apple devices, since they don't have Apple, they have Android.
We don't need them.
We have something called screen time, and it will show you how many hours you've been on something. And I turn mine off because I don't want to know. I don't want you to tell me because I do know. And now I'm not. I'll say it's kind of drifted off in COVID. Like as much being on social media as much as kind of turned down a little bit, but
Hmm.
I still use it. I'm more of a. I have a Facebook, and it's more because we use it for stuff like this. East Corner Times. I moderate several different pages and groups, so I kind of have to keep it open for that. But I'm not really a heavy Facebook poster. I would say maybe my more long, thought out, meaningful posts probably go to Facebook, and then I'm spend most of my time probably on Instagram, Twitter. They're probably tied even. LinkedIn. None of y'all said that, but I know y'all have LinkedIn.
I
Um,
don't be on. Yeah,
I
sure, but
have it, but I don't use
I
I don't
have
it.
be
it,
on.
but I ain't
I'll be on there for
Yeah.
maybe like a couple minutes here or there. I don't even count it.
yeah.
Now, okay. So I just looked at my dashboard for my apps.
Why you do that to yourself? Yikes. Yikes.
Oh
Y'all,
no.
what was I on yesterday? Because it says I was on Marco Polo for 2 hours yesterday.
You wasn't talking to us. Look.
But see, those little segments of time add up. They
Yeah,
really do add up.
yeah.
Wow. My screen
Hmm.
yesterday was 6 hours and 2 minutes. And that's like for everything. That's like looking at my bank accounts and everything like that as well. All that's planning.
hmm
Ooh, oh, gee.
Nobody mentioned Pinterest. I know I don't do Pinterest because one of the reasons is because I get overwhelmed because it's so
Yeah,
much, and
yeah.
I don't want to do that. But I know that's a big one too for people is
I don't do
Pinterest.
Pinterest.
I do Pinterest. Yeah, I like. I'm not a big pinner, but I know I got into it. We were planning the wedding. I would look in there and find stuff that I
Hmm.
wanted to implement, and then I started doing it for. I think I was telling you about it, Brandon, looking for hairstyles.
Yeah.
And I get
Hmm.
on Pinterest to look for different hairstyles, and but I do go on there, but I'm not a real engager. I'm just on there. Um,
Yeah.
so it's a lot. It's a few different things. We mentioned Marco Polo. I don't even know if it still exists. Google Hangouts, and then before that, I know we
Hmm.
all had MySpace. I know we all had High Five.
Black
Yes, we did
Planet.
have
We had Black
high
Planet.
five. Wow. Wow.
So we've been in the social media game for a long time. So I'd say
Hmm.
this isn't new. We've
Yeah.
probably been spending a lot of time on social media for years. It's just now, I think, with our phones, which are helpful and hurtful, they can now show us that we're spending maybe too much time on these social media things.
I think what's crazy is that it was, very innocent. I think about my high five days. It was so innocent, right? And what we're learning now is that there's like a sinister manipulation thing going on with it,
Yes.
that everybody just doesn't know
Hmm
or chooses to ignore. And I think we have to think about like they were. So just to introduce it, we're talking about the social dilemma on Netflix, which is they had all these different, I want to say former leaders from Google and Facebook and all these different
Twitter,
companies,
yeah.
tech companies, and they were kind of just telling the secret, like, listen, just so you know, we're trying to, you all humans, you all are the product, and we're trying to compete for your attention.
hmm
That, when they said that,
Yeah.
when they said that there are only two entities that call their people users, and that's illegal drugs and software companies. I
hmm
was like,
Wow.
yo, that's
Legit.
crazy.
Yeah.
And that how
Yeah.
I never thought about me being the product being sold for
Yeah.
sold to marketing companies or whoever else. That was essential because for me, I'm using social media, at least I thought I was. I was using it for staying in touch with people. That's my primary thing for Facebook and Instagram, showcasing pictures because not all of my family live close to me. So really showing pictures of my kids, and then Twitter was just kind of like a quick news thing and interacting with totally different people, this, that, and the other. But I, I thought it was innocent, but obviously,
Well, like Simone said, it used to be. Like I don't. We all probably had Facebook around the same time, which was when it was just college students.
yes,
And then it evolved from there. So even like I can't think on like Black Planet or High Five or MySpace or even the early stages of Facebook where there were like just ads everywhere. And I've only really noticed it in the last few years. We were just talking about this before we got on. If I say, Simone, I really like that dress you have on, where'd you get it? And we start talking about it. I'll notice later in Facebook, I'll see something similar
Of
to
being an
Simone's
ad.
dress, or something.
Exactly.
And now that they have all bought and sold each other, we didn't even mention Snapchat. Snapchat's another one. Uh,
Mm.
And we didn't.
Oh, TikTok.
I don't have TikTok, but
I don't have it either.
I do have it.
but now they all own each other. Like Facebook owns Instagram, owns Snapchat, all these little things are crossing over. And
Hmm.
if I leave Facebook to escape the ads, I go to Instagram, the ads are still there. The sponsor ads are
Mm-hmm.
still popping up there, the same ones. I'm like, how in the world? How could you do it?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
They're on top
And
of it.
to know that the more we watch and click and view, that is giving them more and more information about our
Yes.
psychology,
Yes.
so that they can get even more precise about how
Yep.
to keep us on there.
Yep.
Yep.
And that is
Scary. That was
crazy. It's really, really scary. And like, ugh, why would you do that?
Yep, that scared me. As we were I watched it a while ago. I did not go back and watch it again because Simone had us watch this movie that gave us nightmares. It's not right. So I didn't go back and rewatch it. I watched it a while ago. But what frightened me about the movie, which is on Netflix by the way, if you want to go look at it, um, the guy that they had this young man who they were like we were watching it through his lens, and there were like people behind pulling the strings or whatever, going, oh, make him watch this, show him this, show him this.
Hmm.
And at one point they were like, oh, it's time for him to go to bed. Well, let's just send him one more video, just one more video. And I'm like, man, how many times have I been laying in bed scrolling on my phone and I know I should be asleep? I know I need to go to bed. And it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
this suggested just one more thing to me. And I just watched one more. And then it's like 30
It's always one more. Yeah. For me, it's Judge Mathis. One more Judge Mathis.
one more.
You know,
Just
and
leave.
it's 2 a.m.
I need to
and
hear him
I'm
call
like,
somebody a crackhead.
exactly. But like another thing too, if you think back in the day when it was High Five and MySpace, our devices were not this advanced, so we
That's
could
true too.
not be. I mean, we were playing Snake. I remember having Snake competitions.
Yeah.
You know,
That
You
was the
could
only thing we
legit
could do.
you
that
could
was
legit
my
only be doing these things on your laptop or
Not
exactly
even
your desktop.
laptop, desktop computers. We didn't really
desktop.
have
Yes,
laptops like
yes.
that.
And these things are computers. So now we can do it all. And because our phones can do everything. So, I
Yep.
mean, it's just like the technology caught up, the technology on the interwebs caught up with our devices, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So we can access everything all the time. So I think we couldn't have gotten hooked in unless our devices had become more advanced.
Well, and I think that is this our generation's saving grace.
Mm-hmm.
And while we of course have issues, and of course, plastic surgeons are talking about how people are coming in wanting their surgery, wanting to look like their filtered looks,
Mm-hmm.
uh, it's a little less prevalent. But for what they were saying for kids and people younger than us, MySpace, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff started coming about right around, what is it, 2011? So a lot of these kids are growing up with that. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a crazy thing. I'm thinking about my daughter Ava, who will be 8 this year. And so that is 2013.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2013 for her. So that's crazy, man.
I mean, there are
Crazy.
babies
Yes.
that have IG accounts. There are children, like they're not theirs, they're ran by their parents, but there are babies that are, they'll be coming up into this world. They'll be 10 or so and they'll find, 10 years ago, they might have had an Instagram account they didn't know about.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about
Right.
likes and comments and, because why? Why do you need that?
Mm-hmm.
Why we don't need to
Mm-hmm.
do that.
Let's talk about that for just a second, because Brandon, you have brought up something. We talked about this. Sorry, I'm looking at us on the other page.
Stop looking at us.
But my son is more, because we do this. I think I shared this with y'all a long time ago. We do this thing called quiet time. Every day we give him. It's supposed to be 1 hour of video of a movie or whatever, but sometimes it might be a little bit longer than that. He is more disrespectful and has more behavior problems when he watches more TV. And I know this is not social, but he's watching YouTube, which people communicate on YouTube, and
That's
you
that's
know,
that's that's social
Mhm.
media too,
Yeah.
really.
absolutely, he is more disrespectful in that after he's consumed too much TV. You know what I mean? And we were talking about like what that means, and not only that, but like we were talking about, like for example, I work with college students, And a lot of them, especially, the minoritized one, for minoritized communities, a lot of them talk about body image. And I'm like, okay, what are you doing on social media? They're Instagram models, white ones with, perfect bodies, you know what I mean? And
Right.
so it just creates a lot of unrealistic expectations and just impacts their mental health. And that's something to really think about. Like how much, as much good as it's doing, how is it negatively impacting our mental health? And I think it really is because, if we think about, we're talking about users and how these companies are learning to like do a deep dive into our brain and like hit those pleasure centers in our
Yeah.
brain to get us to keep coming back. And that's exactly how it works. Get the person to get pleasure and enjoyment, and they're going to keep coming back more and more and more to try to
Yep.
get that same feeling. And that is really problematic.
Yep.
Yeah.
And earlier, I think was it this week or last week, we had talked about my son being a little more disrespectful, being a little more I don't want to use the word violent, but being a little more physical with his sister as far as the hitting, the kicking, and things along those lines. And that was during the course of a couple of weeks when I was busy, wife, mom was busy, and so to get them out of our way, we let him get on his tablet more,
Hmm.
and that's when that began. To no, I noticed it was like, yo, something is up. He did not used to just go up and just fall off and hit his sister. That's just not what he does. If they're wrestling, it's gonna happen, but just to do it, nah.
Mm.
And he was really like being real belligerent and real just disrespectful to me and his mom. I took the tablet away, and literally within a couple days, I noticed a difference. He didn't hit his sister
Hmm.
anymore. He
Hmm.
was more loving, more caring, uh, all those things. It was just like, whoa, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, this is your tablet's really just for those important times. Because he was what we were doing,
Hmm.
and honestly, I wanted to sleep in.
Hmm.
So he would come into the room and ask to play with his tablet, and I would say, "Yes, go ahead, leave me alone." And so he'd be on
Hmm.
it for an hour in the morning, and then he'd be on it for a couple hours at night.
Hmm.
And yeah, it was
Yeah.
crazy. It's a crazy difference.
Yeah.
And just to clarify, I think I can speak for Brandon. We're not letting our kids watch violent things. It's not that they're not
No.
watching violent things.
Mm.
They're just watching kids shows. But when they're watching, like my son he'll be like a zombie. He's like,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
I'm just like his prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that has to do with decision making and all that good stuff that helps them like make good decisions, executive functioning. It's like it's turned off.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And that and if their minds aren't active for too long, they're just zombie like, then they're not gonna. I think that's a part of it. I don't know all the research, but I think that there's something there with that. And like if we let that be offline too long and don't allow them to be, you know, deactivated for too long, if that makes sense, that we're gonna see that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
And for him, my son, when I took it away initially, he would be screaming and
yes,
yelling, and he'd be like, "I want I want my time, I want I need my." And then after a couple of days, he would ask for it, and I would say, "No, you're not gonna watch it right now." Okay, Daddy, and go do something else.
exactly, exactly.
I also wonder what is teaching the kids about interacting, like in a year where there have really been no other kids around, and Brandon, your kids are two kids, so they're right together, so they could interact with each other. But I think about the same impact it has on us as adults. I see too often people in the same household sitting on the phone, not talking to each other, but they're
Absolutely.
interacting on the phone. I've done that before. My husband will be in the front room and I'm in the other room, and instead of like calling his name, I'm texting him, "Hey,
Yeah.
what are you doing up there? Come back here." Just like I wonder what that's teaching us about engaging with
Hmm.
humans, like human interaction, not through
Oh,
a medium or some device.
and don't bother me when I'm trying to do a polo or I'm trying to post. I get angry, just like the kids. Like, wait, I'm trying to do something. I'm trying to talk.
Yeah,
I get
yeah,
angry, and it not like mad, but it's like, give me a second.
annoying.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's kind of the same thing, just in adult form.
Oh, hello,
Whoa,
live and
hello.
direct.
Speaking of,
She's
I
so
got
cute.
it. I missed you.
Aw.
Sorry, pizza, pizza.
Oh, that's a lot of people. We'll watch the show.
It's a meatball.
Great. He said, "Go watch the show."
Yeah, right. We just talked about this.
No.
Go. Watch your
Listen,
tablet.
that just means we got to be strategic with it because we really do need breaks.
Yeah,
We really do, and sometimes the break is the show.
I'm guessing your kids
Any
just
show.
Just got home. Just got home.
So Josiah's gonna come next.
Yeah,
Yep. At some point. Yep.
we'll see him busting like the Kool-Aid man. We'll see him.
Oh, he do, man. That'd be crazy. He be busting into the room.
Oh man. Okay.
Y'all, we have gone off the beaten path. I
This
think
is
this
great.
is good. This is very good because
We-
it's real.
You know, we say often we have notes. We don't always stick with them. But we definitely straight tonight.
So I think before we go further, because I know we're going to bash and talk really bad about social media and everything like that, but I think we need to highlight the good things about social media too, because I think that there are a lot of those. In the midst of all the bad, quote unquote, bad things, I think there are a lot of good things about social media as well.
how you jump
Very
all
much so.
the way to the end?
Well, we're
At
gonna
the
talk.
end,
We're gonna talk about those good things, but he's right. We're not gonna.
Yeah, we're
We'd
not
be
gonna
remiss
Yeah.
if we didn't mention that. But I wanted to go back to the connection part because you made a good point, Tiffany. And I know like dealing with kids is one thing, but like I said, I work with college students and I do groups, and I've learned and noticed that a lot of these young people don't know how to have relationships. They don't know how to get out of
yes,
relationships.
yes,
They don't know how to get in relationships. Like
yes,
somebody walked me through. One of my clients walked me through a whole situation about Instagram. Like if you don't know the person, how to engage them on Instagram, like the things you have to do. Maybe that's just that person. Like, well, you have to like some pictures, and then you have to see if they like your pictures, and then you have to. I was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when they're done, then they're just done. They just ghost them. And I'm like, well, you know, there's other options.
Well,
You break a relationship, there's other things you can do. They're like, really?
in this realm, I think the worst thing you could do in this sense is unfollow somebody. Unfollow, unfriend, and block. That's a
I
very,
didn't know
very
that.
strong thing you can do in the social media world.
which is crazy
I didn't know
because for me, if I know you in real life, and by real life, I'm talking about I've hugged you before, I've talked to you face to face before, and all of a sudden you don't follow me on social media, that doesn't hurt me. It doesn't do it does absolutely
I don't
nothing
care.
to me.
But here's the thing,
I
though.
care not. I care not.
I think social media is an S starter, okay? Because sometimes social media be starting some stuff. You know, who among us have not been like, I ain't know I wasn't following you no more. I didn't do that. You know, Facebook did something, they updated something happened.
But
You know,
that's the
just whatever.
person.
Yeah.
Yes, like, oh, so and so's not my friend. Oh, okay. I wonder. Some people are like, I wonder what I did to them.
I don't even be wondering that.
Me.
I'm just like, oh,
I'm like,
okay.
oh, okay. Well, maybe they did a
I'm
cleansing.
gonna say the internet's interneting. You know.
You know what?
I looked up an old coworker the other day because somebody was talking about him. I was like, oh, let's go see what's going on with him. And I saw it, I was like, oh, and friend, I was like, oh, all right, well, what else? Oh.
But some
Right.
people deactivate and come back. I mean, like, I don't know what that does to you. And then also, if I'm purging my friends list when you've deactivated your account, I'm purging. So, you know, if you're not active no more, what's the purpose of me keeping you on the friends list? I don't understand.
Sidebar, what about the people who come on and say, I'm about to purge, I'm about to start deleting
All
some
my
folks.
friends.
So if I don't talk to you, I'm like, bye.
Delete me.
Come on.
Delete me.
Yeah, it's just one less person that pops up on my timeline. It's like,
Right.
So go on. It doesn't matter to me. Please go ahead and delete.
But like you said, Tip, I think for those we're all the same, roughly the same age group, 36, 37, that 35 to 40 age group. It's not as big a deal because if I see you in real life and I hug you and we love on each other, blah blah blah, it's all good. But for those folks that are younger, You want
I don't know, bro.
unfollowing is like the ultimate disrespect.
This is the same
Yeah.
for old people too.
I say, well, people say, oh man.
I never understood why on some of these actual news, I'll say YouTubers, they'll talk about this celebrity unfollowed this celebrity. And I never understood like why that was news.
Yeah.
But now I understand because I was unfollowed because I didn't when I got on Instagram, I didn't want to see people's stuff. So they would follow me and then I would follow them and then unfollow them because I really didn't want to see them. And so maybe there's a whole slew of people mad at me, but I didn't mean any harm.
Yeah.
I just thought you wouldn't know
That is the
Maybe
news
they
though.
didn't.
When people break up, they'll be like, "Oh, such and such is not following such and such anymore. They must have not." They take that as signs that people are no longer together,
Right.
no longer friends. I remember when that thing happened with Jordan Woods and one of them Kardashian
Ellie.
peoples and
Yeah.
Kristen Thompson or whoever her boyfriend was at the time, and it
Mm-hmm.
was like, they have unfollowed each other. I was like, why is that the news? Why?
Right.
Why do you care? Why have you gone through somebody's? Do you know how many people you gotta look through to find who somebody is following? You went all the way. You have drilled down into their followers to see who is still following whom. That's just a
Well, you
lot.
can filter. You can put the name in and see if they following that person.
Why would?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not sure.
Why does it mean anything? Why? Like if we unfollowed each other, I wouldn't think we're not friends in real life no more.
I would just be like, why'd you unfollow me?
Yeah.
I
I would
really
Marco
wouldn't
Polo
care.
you and be like, okay, well.
Since Simone never has an active account or anything, she can
She
always
sure don't.
unfollow and come back. Cause I remember I was like, Simone, you're not following me. She's like, I'm not. I was like, no, I'm not. Simone, follow me.
But I know where you are. I don't need to follow you.
Let me see,
She's like,
Simone.
what does it mean to follow? I don't understand.
Simone has one post on Instagram.
One.
It's about these corona times, right?
Nope, it's
No, it's
you and
probably about
Caden.
your son. Yeah.
I just don't have a lot to put. I don't have a lot to say. This is another thing that people do on social media. Like when they, and I'm not talking about nobody, but people will listen to a song and then they're like pretend like they're singing the song. And I thought, well, if that's what I have to do to be on here, I can't do that because I'm not gonna do it.
We're about to get canceled tonight. Sorry, guys. We're gonna be back next
No,
week.
I don't think. I mean, they look good doing it. I can't keep up. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
get
posting
down.
the same way I did 10 years ago.
Yeah.
There's so many things on social media that I'm just like, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the people that do annoy me, because I have people who annoy us, I still follow them. Why am I following them?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I still look?
It's
I'm like,
entertainment.
and I go call Tiffany. Did you see so and so?
Yeah, girl, they done did it again. Why would they do that? Why would you tell us? That's the thing. So we do stuff. We all do some of the same stuff every day, all the time. I think I'm like, why would you record it? Why would you share that with the rest of us? I don't need to know. I think I said this in one of my sermons one time. I don't need to know what your dishes look like inside your cabinet. I don't need to see what you have for dinner every week. It's fine that you want to share that, but I don't need to see it.
I'm gonna make sure I'm not going too far. Yeah, we kind of are.
I'm not in the notes at all. I have lost the notes.
Making sure I won't go. So, but but that's the thing about social media, though. I think for a little while it went from sharing pictures of where you're at, who you're with, to really, we're now given access to a lot of people's personal lives.
Personal lives.
Yes.
And we have 24-hour access to a lot of people. We know, like, where you've been. Where were you yesterday? Where were you a couple hours ago? What time you went to bed? What shows you're watching?
Mm-hmm.
All these and that's the thing, without having a single conversation with you.
Mm-hmm.
We can piece all this together based off of your social media profile. And so it's like we know so much about someone, but don't know nothing at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's unfortunate. Do you know how many, and not just me, how many of us have stumbled upon somebody's family drama on Facebook?
Oh.
Somebody's
I love those though.
How many of us go look for it? Oh, 2 weeks ago, so and so was beefing. Let me see if they still beefing.
Still mad?
Oh, I love them. Because some folks on because you used to keep family business off the
You gotta
public,
keep it off social media.
right? It was family business was in the living room. It was all in the house, whatever. Now all types of drama be on
Oh
social
my
media,
gosh.
and I can't
Right.
even front. I love it.
And they know that. They know that.
That's why they keep it up there,
The little man sitting behind the
pulling the
computer
string.
screen is saying, "Okay, Simone likes the drama. Let me keep it coming."
I
Let,
love it.
let me
I
do a Simone
love
move.
it.
Say more about that, Simone. Say more about that.
Say more about what?
About the little people behind us pulling the strings, like keeping
Yeah,
things in front of us.
yeah. It's just, I think it's just very sinister. Is like the best word. So yeah, the stuff that we want to see, it's like it's tracking all of that. And the word that they kept using during the social dilemma was precise. They're very
Yes.
precise. They're perfecting. So Google, Facebook, whatever, they're all trying to get as precise as possible to get our attention. And I
Yeah.
think what's scary is that we're talking about our own personal experiences, but social media can become really, really dangerous, right? Like one of the notes we have, we're talking about Pizzagate,
Mm-hmm.
which
Man,
had to do, I don't know everything about it, but there was some conspiracy about how there was like
a pizza delivery.
child trafficking.
It was
Sex
child trafficking, like
traffickers.
the basement of pizza, all these pizza
Pizzeria.
places.
Mm-hmm. It had
Yeah, and people was
summed it
showing
up.
up with firearms trying to
Mm-hmm.
save the children, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, what? What?
Or the incident with Wayfair. It happened very early in COVID, I believe, when somebody, I think I saw it on Twitter, somebody was like, they're trafficking children using Wayfair products, and like if you notice, all the Wayfair products are named after they have a person's name attached to them.
People, yeah,
And it's like when you buy it, like you don't get the product, you're getting a child. And
right.
people was canceling Wayfair left and right. Wayfair had to come out and be like, "Hey, we're
Not
not
doing nothing.
This this the
yeah,
Sophia sofa for 3,000. Now you know that sofa's not worth 3,000.
yeah, the sofa's not worth 3,000, but y'all y'all take it up with Wayfair."
That's a child, and
Yeah,
it's like, whoa. So
yeah,
I mean, you could really get hurt. You
yeah.
could die.
And I think a good example of that is what we have just recently gone through. Like if you undercut social media,
Josiah.
oh, he's here. Hi. Aw.
Aw. Ooh, fresh haircut.
Mm-hmm. Looks nice.
I like that.
Say what?
I like your haircut, Josiah. Did he
Mhm.
get a
Say
fresh
thank you,
haircut?
Auntie Simone.
No,
He said
I
no.
said no.
he always says no first.
We're gonna give Josiah some extra melatonin tonight. You get 2 for that.
I love it. Aww.
A little bit, okay?
It's like Brandon's kids know he's live, so they've come out.
Can you say hi now to me, Josiah? Now?
You
Yeah,
say
hi.
hi.
See, there he goes. It has to be on his own time.
Watch you with your sister, okay? I'll see you in a little bit, okay?
Bye, Josiah.
It's so cute. Oh, my light is back on now. I'm
All right,
Finally,
Josiah.
illuminated.
finally. If
Josiah.
y'all are listeners instead of watchers, y'all are missing.
Brandon, just rock him to sleep. Just rock him to
Drop him to
sleep in the
sleep right
chair.
here.
Just rock him to sleep. Just go ahead.
Josiah.
He
We'll
ain't gonna
watch
say
your show,
nothing.
okay? In a little bit.
He can't hear
Obviously, he's not trying to leave right this second.
it.
What were y'all saying?
I forgot. Josiah threw me off.
I don't remember. Something about Pizzagate.
Wait, okay. I don't think I was saying like if you undercut social media and its impact and what it can do, I think you should just look at what has happened to us over the last year with
Mm-hmm.
the election, with our former president, all of those things, with the forming of QAnon, with people leaving Facebook and Twitter to go to, I forgot what it's called. What's that random new app people are using now?
Parlor.
Parlor, yeah.
Oh.
Parlor to share their ideas. And that, I think that was, again, going back to this movie that we watched, that's what got me. It was like they were showing how a person with, I think, rational thought can drift down a rabbit hole off of like more information on this, more information, and it could be the wrong information. That's the
Yes.
scary thing about social media. Just like with the Pizzagate, with the Wayfair, with the stuff with the election, it could be the wrong information, and people had the ability to say and spread that freely. And that's
Yeah.
what's unfortunate, I think, about this is everybody, we talk about a lot about having our own platform. Everybody has a platform. Your social media account is your platform. You can
Yes.
say whatever. You know, I can get on tomorrow and be like, the skies are green. The sky's not green, but if I keep saying that over and over, and somebody else goes, "Yeah, I saw a green sky too." You know, the sky's green.
Mm-hmm.
We got a little community, and then it just builds and builds and builds, and it gets out of hand. So that's one thing that has just really, the scary part of that is that you have so many people. And if you don't believe me, go right now, pick any article about January 6th, any article about the election, any article about COVID. You will see so many mixed reactions from people who were like, I don't believe this, I don't believe the science, to people who are affirming like, I believe science, I believe
Yeah.
in truth, I
And
believe.
I think there is a lot of sinister, of course, with the social dilemma. What it was mentioning was, a lot of the sinister stuff going on behind the scenes at these companies. But you also have to look at against human nature, and there are some people who are like, okay, this is what it's doing, and understanding what it is, I can now spread what my message is, whether it's anti-vaccinations, whether it's anti-climate change, or whatever the case may be. I think there was a thing on NPR where 65% or more of anti-vaccine stuff, the vaccine hoaxes and everything comes from just 12 accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so people are understanding what we can do with these things and
Hmm.
really mold it to do their bidding.
Yeah.
That's the
And
scary part as well. So you don't just have the artificial intelligence behind the scenes. You also have the human saying, "I'm gonna use this to really do what I want to do."
Push it. Yeah.
yeah, that willful manipulation is
Yep.
scary because it makes you wonder, like, what is it? What is this part? If you know what a mechanism or whatever is capable of, and you're willing to do that to deceive the masses, what are you really willing to do? Because
Hmm.
I think the way that we are so divided. I mean, look, you had a whole bunch of folks on January 6th who had been they're spreading information on their side of the internet, and I say their side because we literally can we filter out the stuff that we don't want to
We don't want
see.
to see.
So if you're staunch Republican, or I'm gonna say staunch Trumplican, I'll say that,
Mhm.
because Republicans and Trumplicans can be very
That
different.
can be different.
Because being a Republican is not a bad thing, but you can just be in your silo and just see that stuff, and
Yes.
then the rest of us can just see the other stuff.
Yep.
And so then by the time we come together, it's a fight, which we
Yeah.
saw
Yeah.
on January 6th. And it's scary because there's just, like you said, this misinformation train. And even now, like, what does it mean that on our former president's Twitter page, you had constantly underneath Twitter saying, this is not, like, basically, this is not accurate,
Mm-hmm.
so they had to become more diligent about
But
not allowing people to do that.
Yeah.
I got beef. I got beef with social media
Oh, I
people,
do too.
and I got beef with the news companies as well, because they have allowed this, and it's all about
Yeah,
money. I get it.
yeah,
They allowed all that stuff for 4 years, and at the last second, we're just like, "Oh, this is too much now." It was too much 3 years
it
ago,
is
Years
too
ago.
much.
but
It's
y'all
been
didn't
too
do
much.
anything where y'all are making all this money from ad revenue,
Mm-hmm.
from commercials,
Mm-hmm.
from all these spots being worth so much more money. Because every if if you're on the side of Trump being so bad and you understood that, and that's what he is to you now, he was always that way.
He was always that way.
Always,
He was
He
always.
was
always.
always that way. So after the well is one draw, you've used him up for all you wanted to use him up for.
Hmm.
Now he's a problem.
They could have.
Now you got to censor him. Mix me with all that, man.
Right,
They
you
could
could
have
have been
suspended his
censored him.
account after verifying people on both sides. They could have suspended
Exactly.
his account then. They could have suspended his
Okay.
account when he put out over like the jail cords or whatever. They could have been done suspending him. And this would be the only time that I ever in life advocate or stand up for Donald Trump. I definitely feel like the last 3 months, all the wheels were working together to keep him quiet maybe for the betterment of our country.
Mhm.
We needed to secure I ain't gonna say it's not election stealing, but we needed to have an
Un-
unbiased, I guess, an
Unbiased.
unbiased election without him like talking as much as he could on social media. We needed to talk more about the vaccine without him being there to kind of like put his 2 cents in about what the vaccine is and bleach and ultraviolet light and all this stuff. You needed that to be able to swing the country back kind of onto some normalcy.
Mhm.
But why come you couldn't do that the whole time? Like
Right.
the whole time. Y'all wait till yeah, spend his account. He's not coming back to Facebook. He's not coming back to Twitter. But shoot,
Mhm.
after 3 years of hearing him talk, y'all see what we got now? Them January
And you
6th
got,
people are his people.
yeah, you got them doing his bidding, and it is so harmful and so sad because I think we talked about this a while ago with people who were what we're seeing right now is that social media is not impacting Brandon and Josiah's relationship at
Not at
all.
all.
Okay. Josiah knows he is a priority. But there are people, dying in hospital beds from COVID who did not believe. There was a nurse talking about how there's people who didn't believe that COVID existed,
Right.
who were dying from COVID. And it
Right.
was hard. It's like a weird mind
Yes, like a
thing,
mind.
warp. Like, how do you
Yeah.
not believe that
Something
you're
that you
dying of this
believe, bro.
illness? And it's all because of what they've been consuming constantly.
Mm-hmm. Because again, it's what you filter out. So basically, I don't have a lot of this on my timeline anymore because I've gotten rid of it. If I
Mhm.
not that I say I get rid of everybody I disagree with, I don't. I like to have conversation with people because I think that's helpful. But if it's adamant and if it's abusive and if it's downright, this is my way, I'm unfriending you. We're just not gonna be cool.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
it is what it is. Now, my husband has lots of engagements and entanglements with a
Yes, he
bunch of
does.
people.
I love it. I love it.
I swear that boy argues on Facebook with somebody every day, and
Mhm.
I can't do that. I have to protect my peace. And I think when I come to social media now at this old age of 37, I want it to be somewhere where I see my friends' kids' pictures. We celebrate graduations. We talk about the Lord, something simple. I don't want to come on here to fight with y'all because it's enough to fight with outside these walls, like in real life. It's enough to deal with there. No need to fight on social media.
No, not at all. And I don't, as you know. I it wasn't even a fight, but I made a clapback post one time earlier this week. I don't do that at all, but that bothered me.
Mhm.
I only do it on certain things, but again, I don't have time for all that. I got 2 kids and a job, so I don't got time to be sitting down and arguing with folks
Right.
all day, every day.
Right.
Absolutely, exactly. So there's so much stuff on here. I mean,
Oh,
we talked about the entertainment industry. Um, Gosh, I know where we're going with that, but I also don't know if it's a good place to switch to now. But what do y'all think?
no.
No, I think we should. What about
You better not.
social media? You say QAnon.
No, what was you about to say?
I was gonna say what y'all. Obviously, we're maybe thinking about getting social media for our kids, right?
No,
No.
no. Instagram for kids.
No. No, thank you.
What a terrible. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for people who may watch you on it. No, my child's are going to be on it.
My
Doing
kids ain't
what?
getting a cell phone for like 5 more years anyway. So
Let's go. I had to rewatch some of the social dilemma. Experiment is really what it is.
Mhm.
But Tiffany was talking about the young man who they were kind of following his life to kind of demonstrate how social media, is impacting our lives.
Mhm.
And there was some kid, I don't know if it was that kid or some other kid, had a cell phone, and the kid kept scrolling, and the little boy was like, basically, why'd you get her that? The
Mhm.
little girl. And the mother was like, what was I supposed to do? All the other kids in her class have it. And I thought, what's that got to do with us?
right,
It got nothing to do with this household. I don't care.
Where was the
If you are not outside the home without me at a practice, you know what I mean? Like if you're not somewhere where I can leave you and be without me, then you don't need a cell phone.
right. Well, and that's the thing. If I get my daughter, because my daughter's 8, well, she'll be 8 this year, and I know that she's going to be, playing sports and doing this and the other, and going off and playing with her friends. She wants to do that even now. And so maybe there's a thought of, let me get her one of these like kid safe phones where you got like a pre-programmed number in there. You just dial that number and that's it. But as far as having like a smartphone or anything like that, ain't no way in the world.
Mhm.
No.
Mhm.
Mm-mm.
Now, granted, our phones, I think about, because I don't got nothing to add to this child rearing discussion because I got no kids. But I think about when we were coming up, and I know I was a good 14, 15 before I had a cell phone. And in fact, I think Simone had one first. And we would share playing Snake on her cell
Yes.
phone. That was pretty much all
Yes.
you could do. That was it. But then when I did get a cell phone, I know it was very much like, okay, you had it while you were at school. And of course, you can't really have your phone out at school. But when you come home, the phone gets put away. It's gone. Like, I didn't
Mhm.
see it again till the next day when it was time to go to school. So it's not just that you're giving your kid a phone, because I'm sure there's reasons. Everybody's got their reasons. I'm not going to knock your reasons for doing that. It's like, how much restriction are you giving them once they have that phone? Because is it like, okay, you've got this phone, it's an iPhone, it's just got my number in it, your important numbers or whatever, but it's still got apps on it. Are you like keeping them from getting on apps? Are you shutting the screen off at night? Are you keeping it in your room? Do they get it back the next day? Like, what's the deal? What are the restrictions around that phone?
Every text you get as a kid, I need to get it. I want to be able to see all the calls, all the texts.
Please
I'm
give
not gonna say nothing to you. I'm not gonna say anything to you until it's a problem. So just just keep it G, and we'll be fine. That's what I would like when Caden becomes of age. But
me.
you
See, I
know,
didn't get
it's a non-issue. He's 5
I
right
didn't get
now.
my first cell phone until I was 18.
Lord have mercy.
Okay.
So that was way, and for me it was just a random flip phone. So
It
you
didn't do
know,
nothing. None of our phones did
it ain't
anything.
do nothing.
Well,
It took a couple. It took some terrible pictures, and
Terrible
that
phone.
was it.
it did. I have my production team in here now, messing with my lighting. You're gonna get fired, production team. Great. Oh gosh. Okay.
I said it's live.
That's
Anything
what happens when you have people working for free.
all right.
I
Anything can happen live.
This
It's
almost shot
live.
bedtime anyway. Look.
know, right?
Goodness. Okay.
So when it comes to that, one of the things that of course, not sure where y'all want to go with it. It was just really striking how easy it is for someone to get really indoctrinated. And what's the phrase, Simone, where it is you can always find someone that or find something that agrees with your point of view?
Oh, you talking about confirmation bias?
Yes, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. There it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I know for me, I have to really, really watch that. And I'm actually thankful for my YouTube feed because I think it's actually fairly diverse. And but outside of that, it's easy to stay in your silo. It's
Yeah.
so
Mm-hmm.
easy.
Yeah.
Yes, it absolutely is. Exactly. Um, that makes me think about like how do we stay balanced? I think one of the things is to find ways to talk to different people and get a diverse amount of information. For me, that's not going to be social media because I don't want to read people's stuff that disagree with me because it makes it pressure. But at work, or socially, I think that's important. But
Yes.
to stay balanced, yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
I take breaks to stay balanced. I can't be on here all day every day. And unfortunately, like I said, because of work, for the whether it be for the church or for my actual job or even for these side hustles that we do, I unfortunately end up staying on Facebook a lot to post and share and create content or whatever. But I have to take breaks. I'm not on there often. And even the one I do enjoy, which is Twitter, I'll get on there maybe late at night and I'll have an influx of tweets and I might not get on there again for like 4 or 5 days. And it's just like giving yourself breaks. And I don't feel like I need it as much as I used to.
Hmm.
When
Yeah.
we were working full time, I take breaks all the time. Like, what's going on Instagram? Let me see what's
Absolutely. I
happening.
need to zone out for a minute.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
now that we're home and working from home, I just don't feel a need to hop off and hop on Facebook as much or hop on the internet hop on
Hmm.
socials as much anyway and check into what's happening.
You know what's interesting though is so the social dilemma, they were coming at it from an ethical perspective. They're like, we need to talk about this because this is an ethical problem.
Hmm.
And so I see, you know, them doing that, like trying to make people aware. But then our phones also do have mechanisms that try to help us too,
Hmm.
like telling us how long we've been on there, so we can make us like, oh, I've been on there 15 hours, like that's too much,
Yeah.
you know. So there's that. Also on our phones, me and Sean, we have the sleep mode, so our phones will go black and white, which is not engaging at all. So that tells us it's time to go to bed or just get off the phone.
Hmm.
So I see our phones or whoever, you know, the makers, whatever, trying to build in mechanisms to help us.
Hmm.
But then we have to take a step to actually, you know, do
Activate
that,
them.
like heed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
know for me, I have my do not disturb cuts on at 10. And so that unless I actively cut it off, there's no notifications. I can't even listen to music on there, watch videos, and hear videos or anything like that. So that definitely helps me. And I've also cut off a lot of my notifications. I get very, very, very few notifications for the apps that I have on there, and I think that helps out quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, turn off those notifications. You don't
I
have to
did that.
get it all. Yeah.
I did that a few years ago to my Facebook. I turned off the notifications because I was spending a lot of time on Facebook. I just don't want to. So cut that
Mm-hmm.
off. And as Simone said, using I can't believe Android has do not disturb features. I'm so proud of them for having something
Ma'am,
comparable to the
listen.
iPhone. But anywho,
Mm-mm. No.
yes,
Eve ate the apple, not the Android.
you know what?
That's true.
We're not even
That's true.
going to. Okay, that's because
Yeah.
Apple was irresistible. If y'all would know that if y'all didn't have Android
And
devices.
look what happened after the fruit was eaten. Look what happened. Here we are.
Part of the social experiment now. But Simone's right, and I say that to say, really, as much as I joke about Apple versus Android, across platforms, all of these makers now have something in place: the bedtime, the screen time, being able to see how much time you spend on these devices, and being able to wind your phone down at night. Being able to do not disturb, not just while you're sleeping, but while you're driving too. Like all these things, for as many special things are on the smartphone, which we were talking about before, the microphone listening in, the camera access, all those things. For as many
Hmm.
of those things that exist, there's also other things to counteract those, but you have to activate them.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not one
Yeah.
who uses my screen time features on my phone, but I do use the do not disturbs and the wind down. And my phone shuts itself off at 12, and I can't play with apps or anything anymore. I know that it's time to go to bed, so we have
Hmm.
to actively take our parts as well.
Yeah. And I think I would encourage people too to be careful about how you spend your downtime. So a
Mhm.
lot of times when
Mm.
I'm talking to my clients about self-care and the things that they do to, you know, manage themselves and their emotions when they're feeling bad, a lot of them will say, oh, well, I'll scroll on social media. And I'm always really cautious about that and ask them to kind of think about, is that really there are passive ways of coping. So I think of social media as a passive way of coping, right? And so it's not, I never say it's a bad thing, but I encourage them to think about more active ways of coping, like getting outside, doing some exercise, yoga, hula hooping. It don't matter, something more active. But when you're scrolling on your phone, that's not necessarily the best way to get self-care, you
Mhm.
Yeah.
know. So I want people to think about that too.
Isn't there some syndrome or something about looking at social media and being depressed, like some correlation with that?
Yeah, and I think it has to do again with what your brain is doing. You know, it's like almost like a depressant. It's just numbing. It's very numbing,
Mm.
especially if you're taking in information that tells you that you're not good enough. You know, looking at Instagram models or looking at other people's lives because we're comparing our reality to other people's. I don't call them lies, but the stuff that they want us to
Filters.
see,
They're
Yeah,
filters.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
their
yeah. The
filters
curate
and
the
the wonderful life they're having, and we over here eating cookies and ice, and so it's just not always good. We're not always taking in the best information. And
Mhm.
so
curated perfection.
exactly. And so something I work with people on too a lot is like, if you're, for example, something I've heard a lot, if you're, for example, a Black woman and you're following, the Kylie Jenners of the world, like that might not be like, is that affirming to you? Is her image and what she like, is that affirming to you as a Black woman or an Indian woman? Or because if not, then do you need to see what she's doing all the time?
Right.
So yeah, we got to be careful about what we're consuming when we're on there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. And everything that we see on social media is not real.
Man,
It's what people want you to see.
Not.
Um,
Yeah.
so take that into account too as well.
there
Yes,
are
there's a lot of.
whole there are whole industries set up for the fakeness where you can, if you see people taking pictures on a jet, that could be a movie prop.
Mm-hmm.
They was
I've seen,
driving past the airport.
Yep.
well, not even that. There's just like
Right.
in warehouses, and they have like the inside, like it's made up to look like the inside of a
Hmm.
jet, and people are taking pictures in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I just heard about this last couple of weeks where there is a market where you can sell your designer bags, not the handbags themselves, but the bag that you get from the store.
Wait,
So
what now?
yeah, so
Say it
the
again.
the Dillard's, the Macy's bag, you can sell them.
yeah, so but for some folks like the Louis Vuitton bag, the Prada bag, there's nothing in those bags that they're posting on Instagram. It's just the bag. You
Somebody
can
just
buy
came to
those
my mind.
bags by themselves.
Come on.
Oh.
Somebody just came to my mind who's always showing us their bags. What if your bags is empty, bro? Like,
Right. Oh Lord, always bags.
But yes, I did not realize that those bags can go for like $30 to $50. Like somebody who legitimately bought something from the Prada
it's
store
selling the bag
can sell that bag they took home their merchandise and
so
on
you can
eBay.
put your Target items in it and make it.
Exactly, and say, "Oh, we're shopping today."
Right. And that can depress you. That can make you feel anxious. Like maybe I'm not where I should be in life. So absolutely can have a negative effect. And we have to remember these are the things we're supposed to be able to remember. Are we should encourage, or I don't know, challenge ourselves to try to remember those things when we're scrolling and taking all that stuff in. We
Everything with
don't know what's going on with people's lives. We
yeah.
don't know.
Take everything with a grain of salt and everything in moderation. Everybody that's
Yes.
screaming, I'm happy, is not always happy. I remember that used to be the meme a couple years ago. Like there was it wasn't a meme, it was like a video and it showed this girl and it was just following her around. She's happy, she's posting, and then in the night she's really sad and she doesn't have
Yes.
anybody to talk to and she's alone by herself. It's like I don't know. I don't know if we're doing this. I don't know how we do this. Is it for the clout? Is it for recognition? Is it
The
for the
likes,
app?
people love the likes. I did not know people chase likes. Now, when I post a picture, because I never post, I do look and see how many likes it got.
Mm-hmm.
But if it doesn't get a lot, like, oh, okay, well, maybe people didn't see it. But
Yeah.
for a lot of people, that's devastating because
Yeah.
that's where they get their affirmation.
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
Yeah,
just a lot there. It can really mess with your head.
absolutely. So, do we want to shift now to the positive aspects of social media?
We need to.
Yes, positive. What are the,
Gosh.
what are the positives? We've been talking negative about social media for an hour.
I mean, okay, this what we're doing right now,
Yes.
because we're using social media to do this. So this is positive. I think of the many businesses that have pages and that interact with their clients this way. I think this has become another form of customer service for some places. If I can't get AT&T on the phone, I can always go to their Twitter or their Facebook and direct message them and have access to somebody. So I think there are some benefits there as far as customer client relationships. Also, just as far as putting content out there for people to
Mhm.
see. I think that's good. I think some people who don't have money for websites and big marketing campaigns can use social media to get their products out there.
Most definitely.
Mhm.
And that would be me. I have definitely gotten, especially over the last year or so, quite a few clients just off of social media, and so I will definitely affirm that.
Mhm. I think just being able to find people, that you haven't talked to in a long time, relatives, long lost friends, or people that I went to graduate school with that I'll probably never see again in face to face because they're not from Louisville, where we're from. So they've graduated, moved on, but we can keep in contact. And I will say another huge thing is I'm studying for this huge exam, and they shared Spalding, that like all the study materials that I need were shared on Facebook on our site, or on our Facebook page, Spalding Facebook page. That was amazing. Like that. Otherwise, how would I have gotten that had it not been on social media? So I downloaded that, and that's going to help me pass this exam. So there's a lot of wonderful things.
Yep.
Yes.
To buy and
Yes.
sell. People use it for marketplace, to
Mhm.
stay in touch. I know when we were in Australia, the only way I could talk to people was over like Wi-Fi apps. So like using WhatsApp, using Facebook Messenger that allowed
Yep.
us to call home when we didn't have service.
Mhm.
So people have had real life relationships and
They
marriages built
have.
off social media, like meeting
Yes.
on social media, and are in today in happy relationships. So that's another thing. Finding long lost relatives.
Mhm.
I remember my grandmother had this friend who she used to work with, and they like lost track of each other. You know, my grandmother does not have the Facebooks, the internets, none of that stuff. She's not about that life. But I found the lady's son, and we started talking. And my grandmother and her friend were able to meet up in person several years back. So that was like
Mhm.
Wow.
for me one of the personal like wow moments of social media because that doesn't always happen a lot. So
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
One of the things that the, the 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 higher ups that were talking in the social dilemma in the movie, they mentioned how innocent they all thought a lot of this was in the beginning, and
Mhm.
how what we're talking about now was what they intended for it to
for
be
it to be.
used for,
Mm-hmm.
and how I guess the money making side of things started rearing its ugly head, and that's kind of led to what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Right. Of course, capitalism. Yeah.
I'd say that even with
Mhm.
us, like with with the reason we switched to lives now was because when we
Mhm.
first started doing this, when we got on and do the watch parties were free, no cost. Then the watch parties got taken away, and all of a sudden now, if you want more views, you have to pay for boosts, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
It's all about money, it seems, instead of it's taking away like that usability, that um, good interconnection, all that's been taken away, and it's boiling down to like money matters.
Yep.
Now, if they, because remember, there's been these conspiracies or whatever. Oh, Facebook's gonna start costing something. Over the years, we've heard that.
Mm-hmm.
If Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, if they did start to charge, I would be gone. I wouldn't. I might pay a minimal fee for Facebook, but the rest of them would be gone. And I say that as somebody who paid $50 for Marco
Marco
Polo.
Polo.
But Marco Polo, we use it every day.
We do. We do use it every
Hey,
day.
sometimes you don't want to listen to 10-minute polos. You can put that joint on speed up,
Yes. Yes.
blaze right on through that sucker.
Exactly. Exactly. Any more positives about social media that we want to talk about before we go to our recap of?
For me, it's family.
Oh.
Um,
Hmm.
I'm not very close with the family on my dad's side, uh, and so I have connected with a lot of them that live on the left coast, and so I saw them actually about a year and a half or so ago. It was for a funeral, unfortunately, but I could pick them out. I saw them and talked to them and everything like that. So uh, I really like the family reconnections that I was able to kind of establish.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
All right. I guess we better shift so we can be respectful of the time.
It is that time.
Respectful of the time. Um, so I just want to say nobody, these two don't care about Married at First Sight. They
Not at
don't care
all.
at all.
Mm-mm.
But we do care about All American. We
Yeah.
all care about All American. All I can say is that Olivia, what's her last name?
Baker.
Olivia
Baker,
Baker must go. She got to go. Bye, Olivia.
she's
Goodbye.
wilding.
She stood up in that. She said, "Don't look for me.
I did it,
You
I
did
did
it.
girl.
this."
It's because you weren't moving fast enough. What were you doing, Ma? Why were you keeping this from me?
Why
Mhm.
did you tell me?
You could have told
Excuse
me.
me? Do
You could have
you have
told
a
me.
law degree? Do you work in the office, Olivia?
Why didn't my mom tell me she was working on this? Why did she have to?
She could have
She
at
didn't
least
hint.
hinted.
See, that's when you have an unequal balance. Okay, this is Simone. This is Simone's bias. Okay, when your children think that they're on the same level as you, that's a problem. And I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Listen,
Yeah.
I love my kids.
I'm not your friend.
We are not friends. I love you, but we are not equals. I'm not, and I tell my daughters every day, every day. I'm not arguing with the 7-year-old.
No,
I'm
There are no
36.
those in here.
You're 7. I'm not arguing with you.
And if y'all watch All American, y'all know that these teenagers are adult status. You know, I mean, they act like they're adults. They're grounded, but they have people over. They just leave. They go get married. Don't tell nobody. They steal files and post them, and they be like, "Yeah, I did it." They drop out of school. Just all kinds of stuff. Just
I haven't seen any homework assignments. Coop
not
has
no one.
dropped out to pursue
Not
music.
man test
Let
done.
me tell you, the only people that
And
been in
quiz.
the only people that been in school this season are the football players of South Crenshaw because they go.
That's it. That's it.
That's
Because
all.
the principal tried to ruin the football program because he
all.
has a vendetta against
That's
Billy
it.
Baker. So they had to really tune
They had to
into
come
the
together.
academics.
Grades up.
Over in Beverly, ain't no test being done.
Mm-mm.
No.
They don't ever go to class. They never
Can,
go.
can we talk for a second about Jordan, who I burn for? I do burn for Jordan Baker. Talking about I'm nothing without football. Do you know that your mother is the DA? You're fine.
He gonna be all right.
You're fine if you
You're
can't play football.
No,
You're
he gonna
good.
be all right.
You're going to get into a good school, sir.
Right.
You're fine.
Oh my god.
Stop.
I feel like that maybe that aspect is like sometimes I feel like this is not always real world what teenagers are dealing with, but I think that one is real. I think when teenagers lose something, a sport or whatever, and they can't
I agree.
go like it's like my life is over all of a sudden because they're not thinking far enough ahead to realize, you know, I'm gonna be good. I don't make bad grades. I got good parents. I'm gonna get into a school. It's gonna be fine. So you could think far enough ahead to marry somebody, but you can't think far enough past football. I don't understand.
Right. And I think I'll understand it more if it was Spencer because of where he comes from and the
Yes.
socioeconomic status.
Yes.
But Jordan Baker and Olivia Baker, obviously, there's a lot of privilege there.
A lot of privilege there.
You're going to be all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Can I just say I loved what the football teams did? I was not expecting that for them to if y'all ain't watched it, sorry, spoilers coming now, but I was not expecting for them to kneel
Yeah.
and forfeit, and then for the other team to also
to
kneel
do the same.
forfeit.
Yeah.
Spencer's speech was fairly moving. I was like, okay, Spencer.
They've been bringing it this season
Yeah.
with the social justice stuff.
They're not talking about no COVID, but they definitely talking about the social issues.
Yeah, totally. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I know we're off the beaten path, but we didn't talk about this. But apparently, COVID is over for some people.
In these streets, look.
Listen, the CDC saw folks putting gas in plastic bags and said we're done.
Y'all do what y'all want to do.
No y'all handle it
You
yourselves.
can have it. You can have it. And I don't know about y'all. So it's been like a full week since that happened. So I don't know about what y'all experiencing. Well, Brandon's in the same city as me, and you know, people are weird here anyway. But I've seen mixed reactions. I've seen, thankfully, more people than not still wearing their masks. But I do see a lot of people not wearing it, and I see a lot of people not asking them about it. We have small businesses here who are saying that they are still asking people to wear masks. One bar here is saying they want to see your vaccination card if you take your mask off. So it's about to get wild. I think it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I've also heard that some schools are lifting mask bans, which is makes no sense to me. It's one thing for adults who've been vaccinated, but if you're a child and you can't get vaccinated, then why are the schools saying that? I mean, I don't know. That makes me uncomfortable as somebody who's about to send their child to school and was banking on the fact that there would be some social distancing or what have you, but maybe that's a topic for another day.